Right. So I'm just sitting in the beautiful nature with my new friend Sangita. We met recently. We were called out of the house at the same time, and our heart spaces drew us to each other. We started chatting about spiritual awakenings and all things expansive in the world right now. And you spoke about having your awakening at 70 years old, and me having just gone through mine. I just thought it might be interesting for the people if you could share a few words about how that arrived in your life, and how you've navigated it, basically.
Well, actually, from my 20s, particularly 30s onwards, I was trying this path, that path, the other path. It wasn't until 2003 I came across something called The Journey with Brandon Bayes. And journey sessions are basically that you make friends with every single emotion that comes up, whether it's anger, boredom, whatever it might be. You make friends with it and give it total space to exist. And then it quickly moves to something else, because we spend so much time learning to fight things and reject things. And I became a journey practitioner. Back in 2010, I finally decided to go for it. And but I'm feeling a little bit bad at the moment that there's a lady called Bridget who's contacted me about a month ago wanting a journey session, and I found myself not sure I wanted to do it. And I will get in touch with her. I will apologise to her. And she's probably found somebody else. But maybe I was just feeling overwhelmed with so many things happening at once in my life.
Yeah. And with the ascension and the awakening that's happening right now, do you think, how is that impacting you? And you were talking about mirror work with your awakening and these emotions and looking at yourself. How is that?
Yeah, I had tried mirror work before, but I didn't actually have a breakthrough until I decided nothing was going to stop me, and that I would persevere until I had a breakthrough. And then it came fairly quickly, actually, at that point.
Nicely timed aeroplane or glider. And were there any words or affirmations, or what would you share something that was quite important or profound?
I mean, I did, with Louise Hay, I did pass through a phase of lots of affirmations and so on. And it has worked for me, because I was separated from my daughter for 2 years, and I don't need to go into how that came about. And except I felt so much grief, I kept getting lots of massages from people and things.
Yeah.
And one day I thought, right, I'm going to focus on affirming that by such and such a week she's going to be back. And I did it every day, this affirmation. And 2 days from the end of the week, I suddenly had a phone call that she was coming to live with me.
Oh, bliss.
And she arrived.
Manifestation.
And she stayed with me until she got married with her present husband.
Yes, beautiful. And you were also talking about your connection to your guides and messages that have come through, and that you've been asked to write and share some of your story. Would you like to say a little bit on that?
That was about 2011 that happened. Soon after I made this declaration to universe, I'm ready, and whatever beings want to work through me, here I am, ready. And that's when these beings did start connecting with me. And I had been a Babaji devotee for about 24 years, but I just found the meetings that used to happen and people's stuff, and in the end I thought I don't want to be part of any group. And since then I've just related to Babajee, told my stories and dreams to my close friends, but not wanted to be part of a group, which is why I haven't wanted to live in a community permanently as well, because I've lived in so many since the 60s onwards. Which generally there's a lot of stress between people and fighting and you know, judging and so on, you know.
So you found a more sort of independent path at the minute, is that what you're saying? You just found your own solo path.
Although I love to connect with these places like La Cabe in Spain.
And in Spain, so that, and you mentioned also your root is from Basque country.
Yeah, my mother, she was born in Madrid, and so that's where the family was, but she became, when there was this, well, she lived with nuns quite a lot and did consider whether to be a nun, but life had other plans, obviously.
Yes.
And so she ended up being a teacher in Bilbao, and soon after Franco got his mates, Hitler and Mussolini, to help him bomb the Basque people, she decided to leave with about 50 teachers and assistants with 4,000 Basque children.
Amazing.
And they went to different places, the refugees. Some went to France, some went even to Russia.
Yep.
But the ship she was on, La Habana, went to Southampton. And then from there, the refugees were sent to hostels all over the country, all over England and Wales.
Okay.
And she ended up in Cumberland, as it was. About half a mile's walk from Hadrian's Wall.
Oh, wow.
Because I went back there in 2015 and walked up to the Hadrian's Wall again.
Amazing.
And she didn't like the dampness and the rain because she wasn't so used to that.
I can imagine.
And so we were speaking Spanish from young age, me and my sisters. But at the same time, she was trying to learn English, so it was like we got a bit of a mixture of English and Spanish and so on, you know.
And has anyone else in your family sort of connected with spirituality in the ways that you have, or?
I think my younger sister Christina is connected with the land and with animals, and she feeds the badgers and foxes at the end of the garden.
Oh, beautiful.
So she's made like a sanctuary in her garden. They come and eat there every evening.
That's so lovely.
And she's got a fence just so the dog won't rush down to the bottom. But with a gate in it. And squirrels. She leaves all the animals in peace.
Beautiful.
And my other sister lives in Bath with her husband. I think all of us have had second legal husbands along the way.
The journey of life and relationships.
And so he has children from his last marriage, and one of them has got some sort of, I forgot what it's called when difficulty in living in the world, basically.
Yeah, some form of neurodivergence, special brain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But they have a very open house to people from different countries, and they're forever travelling to different places, and they go to Scotland a lot. My sister's just in Normandy at the moment, I think, with him. So luckily they both like travelling, they both like relating to lots of people. And
community sort of connection and sharing differences, celebrating differences.
Yeah.
And moving back to your guides and sort of the enlightenment that you had, and you were told to sort of share your truth more, and is it in the form of writing? Was it? Were you told to write a book?
I was given a dream giving me the headings of 3 chapters, and in the morning I wrote down what I thought I remembered, hoped I'd got it right, and the dream repeated a second night. So to make sure I got it right. So I thought, well, obviously I'm meant to write this book, and 3 chapters sounds easy enough.
And what were these? What were you sort of told to speak about? Whatever you're able to share now, and how has it helped you? Has it helped you to sort of release some things inside of yourself as well by writing?
I suppose that I've also found that whatever I did write, as you grow all the time and evolve, and every time I edited it, I was making changes. And the same with the other book that I translated all my parents' wartime letters, and I found myself putting in translators' comments all the time.
Bless. And where do you feel this book would take you? What does it have a name? Are you able to share that, or like what are the themes that helped
it
you?
A Path of Love. And my brain's gone blank at the moment about the headings of the 3 chapters. Do you remember?
Do you want me to remind you?
Yes.
One was called Forgiveness.
Oh yes, Forgiveness is the first chapter.
One was called Purpose.
Yeah, and 100% responsibility.
Exactly.
Yeah, because in the chapter about forgiveness, it's where I wrote about my father on his deathbed and being in a coma, and how he was finally able to hear me once he was in a coma, where he couldn't do while he was in a conscious state.
And you mean telepathically? That's how you were connecting with him?
Yeah, and so he heard my messages and responded.
And how do you incorporate these sort of lessons of forgiveness and purpose and accountability, responsibility into your life, or looking back on your journey across the years?
I would say I didn't come to totally being forgiving all people, whatever stupidities they're committing, until I really learned to love myself. Because once you stop judging yourself, you stop judging everybody else.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And what does that love and heart space, because obviously that's how we connected. You mentioned something about you feel your heart being warmer, and so when you were drawn out of the house at the same time as me, and I'm in the same space of huge heart activations.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you now?
I mean, this has only happened in the last 2 or 3 months through the Stargate meditations. The original person who was told to build the Stargate was called Pragit. That he got, like me, I got my name Prem Sangita from Osho, and so did he get his name Pragit. And then in 2012, people used to come along to his place, and this lady Julianne turned up, and she stayed, and they both became channels for Alcazar. So they both speak, and then other people join them with whatever their connections are, you know, when there are big events like one is happening right now in Kos in Greece.
Yeah, which you'll get back to at some point. You mentioned Greece is a theme of mine at the minute. I'm connecting with some of the old gods. But I wanted to end on with the love vibration. What does it mean to you? And also, having moved from selling crystals back in Portobello back in the day, and all of your journeying across communities and life living, for anybody who might be sort of challenged with the energy at the moment mentally, and how to sort of find purpose, do you have any words of wisdom to share?
I do tend to tell the story about Louise Hayes and the angels who used to visit her and give her messages, and they told her that by 2032 that every country would have come to harmony, China being the last one to, apparently. And so it's very cheering to think that's not long.
No, it's well within reach. And
it's supposed to show into by 2025. Apparently, it'll be more clear. The light is growing, at the moment, all the dark is showing itself as well, because everything's coming to the surface.
Absolutely. Yeah, anything done in the dark is resurfacing, isn't it? For
Yeah.
clearing, this is the collective purge and clearing. And
It's reminding me of the Holocaust today when I was reading about what was going on in Israel and Palestine and so on, you know.
yeah,
I was thinking, they haven't forgotten, have they? You know?
who knows what's going on in that wider space. I try to tend to tap out, but with us ending this little chat soon on this beautiful nature reserve, what does nature mean to you? Your connection to the fae and to moss and to the beauty and just to life and stillness.
And that's been since childhood. I used to spend a lot of my time. There was a rabbit warren with all these big trees, elm trees, and even though it's where I first broke a bone falling down one of them, I used to just sit up in the trees a lot and watch the rabbits around. But I also have this other memory that isn't so good. One day when I'd been shouting at my father that he was a murderer. And I don't know whether it's because he used to be a soldier that came into my head, but because he actually hated being in the war and fighting anyway.
I'm sure many people did,
Yeah. But I remember one day I'd been shouting at him and I started running. I ran into the garden, got over the fence, and it was a day of snow and he was running after me, and I was running as fast as I could to see if I could get the rabbit warren up the trees. But after, I don't know how far it went, but at some point he suddenly turned back, and I thought, is he doing that because he thinks the neighbours are watching, or why? And I wasn't sure.
So you've always been in nature, and it's been your safe
Yes.
your safe space.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for sharing some of your life and your love and your energy with us, Sangita. Do you have any?
And no matter what dangerous situations I've been in, somehow I've come out of them
Why
safely.
do you think that is?
You know, when men with knives threatening what they're going to do if I don't let them rape me and so on, but I've always got out of it somehow.
And trust? Do you think you've been guided in trust and faith and love?
It seems so, yes.
Bless you. On that note, you warrior woman, thank you so much for sharing. See you.